Hello there guys, and welcome to Mad Doc Minis. In this video I'm going to be reviewing another gorgeous tank from Culverin Models in the UK. Now Culverin are primarily an Etsy based business, but they do have a smaller presence on eBay as well, and they are doing a brand new Kickstarter which includes lots of different tank variants based off of the hull that you see on the screen now. The version I've got here is the Maul anti-air tank, and it's the rocket version of that tank, and I will go ahead and put that together in a minute to show you in more detail. There are lots of variants available though, and I will discuss those later in the video, so stick around for that. As for the Kickstarter, I'll put a link to that in the video description, so go and check that out. There are different pledges available for the physical prints and for the STLs, although bear in mind, because of the complexities of shipping, you can't get the physical prints if you're within the EU. But go and check out the Kickstarter for more details, guys. In the meantime, let's have a closer look at what we've got here. So large components. This is a prototype, so bear that in mind, but it does look very, very good to me, and it looks like it's nice and easy to put together. We've got a single piece hull, which is nice, so we don't have to worry about anything there. That's good. Left and right tracks. We've got a single turret piece and some rocket pods which attach onto the sides. Got a couple of different options for hull mounted weapons, including a small bore cannon and a flamer. And we've also got a couple of different options for hatches on top, including open and closed versions, which is a nice touch in case you wanted to model a crewman out the top or something like that. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a dry fit now to show you what this thing looks like. The front end of the track sections can be identified by this little U section here, just in case you're wondering what a way around to attach them. And there's also a big drive wheel that kind of pops out of the front a little bit, and that's another signifier for the front end as well. Just on the side there you can see. All right, they go on with no fuss at all, with little pegs and receivers. You would of course super glue this together. This is just a dry fit to show you what the vehicle looks like initially. I will be putting it together properly and painting it up later in the video, so stick around for that. The turret goes on really nicely and rotates with full free range there, no catching. The rocket pods will attach on with just enough friction for me to show you here. You may want to consider magnetizing these so you can move them up and down, because both configurations genuinely look great. So just a thought there, in case you didn't want to glue them in place. You've got the options for the hatches. They slot in beautifully to the point where you may not even want to glue them in place in case you wanted to swap them out for any reason. So really nice precision printing there, really, really good. The hull options will slot into that little area there. They won't stick in with enough friction for me to leave them there, but I'll just show you that's what it's supposed to look like. So a really handsome looking tank here. I'm very happy with it, and I'm really looking forward to painting this bad boy up to match my Praetorian army. So thank you to Culverin for sending me that to review, but stick around guys, because there's more to discuss. Culverin also sent me out this really cute little tankette. This is the Ratchet tankette, and that is also part of the Kickstarter as well. Similarly, it comes in a hull piece and left and right track sections, and the track sections can be identified by kind of more of a rounded edge, I would say, on the front end. So if you just look at the details on the tracks, you've got a little rounded section on the front there and a little notch in the front as well on the armour. So just watch out for that to get them the right way around. They go together very similar fashion to the larger tank, and there's no fuss at all with that. And the turret comes in a single piece, and that slots on beautifully and has full free range of motion, no catching, which is great. And there are three options for the main armament. You've got a small bore cannon, which is really handsome looking. You've got these dual machine guns, which I very nearly went with, like a kind of dual heavy stubber thing for Warhammer 40,000, isn't it? But being a Praetorian fanboy, I had to go for the Gatling cannon, really, didn't I? There was no other choice going on there. Kind of like an Onslaught or a Punisher, really, and that slots into the turret really easily. There's only one way it will go. If you try to put it in upside down, it won't actually go in, so it's obvious how it has to attach together. So really nice little thing, this. And that will work very well in my Praetorian force as a Sentinel proxy. Actually, it's about the right size, so that's a nice use for this one. And I am going to show you all the different variants that are available in the Kickstarter now, guys. I've got some lovely digital renders for you to look at so you can understand the different options available. So we're going to go through those one by one so you can have a proper look at all the available variations there. And they're really, really gorgeous. Just check this out. There really is a complete set of variants for this hull design, guys, including the rather marvellous anvil battle tank you see pictured here, which could proxy as a Lehman Russ. You've got the auger artillery tank, which I think would make a really unusual replacement for a basilisk in the world of Warhammer 40,000. I actually think it's better looking as well. I love it. There's also an APC version called the Chisel Troop Transport. You can see the slightly differently designed back end there to accommodate the troop compartment. There's another artillery vehicle called the Hatchet Rocket Artillery Tank. I'm really a sucker for artillery tanks, so I'm loving this. Really, really nice looking thing. There's also my personal favourite coming up next, the Mallet Tank Destroyer, bringing those sexy Stug vibes. I'm definitely going to have to get my hands on one of these. I really, really love this one. Next up is the Maul anti-air tank with quad auto cannons. This is the same tank as the one that I've got, but with a different armament. So there's two versions of that variation, if that makes sense. So you've got the quad auto cannons and you've got the rocket version, which is the one that I've got for the purposes of this video. Both really, really nice looking vehicles. Last but not least, I've got a digital render of the Ratchet Tankette, which is another of the vehicles that Culverin have sent me. Really nice looking. And yeah, just all fantastic stuff, really. I did promise you a paint job, guys, and here it is. Very basic tabletop standard stuff, as always, on this channel. And a couple of little flourishes, including the hull stripes and the stripes on the rockets, just to add a touch of colour. This is painted to match my Praetorian force. I love this thing. Massive thank you to Culverin for sending this through to me to review. Really do appreciate having the opportunity. This thing really fits the Warhammer 40,000 universe very, very well, whilst still being a bit different, and I think that is just wonderful. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. I'm going to do a bit of a comparison now with a Lehman Russ battle tank, admittedly a converted one with wider tracks and my own take on a Conqueror turret. I did do a video for that in case you're interested, which I'll drop in the video description. But you can see here the hull on the Culverin tank is maybe lower and longer than that of the Lehman Russ, although the turret on this missile variant does make it stand ever so slightly taller. But overall, I think the Culverin model is slightly larger than the Lehman Russ. So overall, it has the size advantage. If you compare that to a Rogel Dawn heavy tank here, you can see that it does truly sit in between the two. The Rogel Dawn is larger in terms of its kind of overall hull dimensions. It's wider, it's taller, and a similar length, maybe a tad longer. So definitely these tanks sit in between the two main classes in Warhammer 40,000. This is my take on the Ratchet. I love this thing, fits the Praetorian force really, really well. And if you do want to do the Sentinel proxy thing with this, you could easily mount it on the appropriate size base. It's definitely small enough to do that. As it is, I'm going to leave mine off a base. I prefer my tanks free of bases, but it's definitely a possibility if you want to make it more, I don't know, kind of game legal, if you will. So I've putting them up against some Imperial Guardsmen here. These are my Praetorians, and just to give you an idea of size. If you've enjoyed the video, guys, please consider liking and sharing. It really does help the channel to grow, and if you're not already subscribed, consider giving us a sub. Go and give Culverin some love. Check out their Kickstarter, check out their Etsy shop. They're a great business to deal with, and I really hope you love their stuff as much as I do. So thanks ever so much, guys, for watching, and I will catch you in a future video soon. Cheers.